Hello, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Cynthia Clark, intuitive life coach, and you can find me over at soulmate.support. This is part 3 of my video series on From Heartbreak to Happiness. And today we're actually going to identify the 5 areas of what do you actually need to do to heal your heartbreak. So thank you for joining me. So, heartbreak is one of those things that is just not, it's not an overnight um, release. It's something that definitely takes time, and there is a process that needs to happen. When I got divorced from 19 years of marriage, I would say my healing pathway took about 2 years, which for some people it's going to take longer than 2 years, but if I can help you to speed that up, I definitely feel that it can happen faster than 2 years as well. So everybody's different in their in the way that they heal and in the length of time required to get through their trauma. So don't put a time frame on it for you. I just want you to start identifying that yes, it will be a process, and starting today, you can begin that process. So the first step that you really need to do is you need to allow yourself to grieve. Okay. Do not bury those feelings. Do not pretend that they aren't there. You need to acknowledge that you are hurting and you need to grieve. So this is step one. And, for me, it was, I would cry all the time. Oh God, it was awful. I found myself crying in very inappropriate places, like the grocery store or the bank. um, it's almost like I just couldn't help myself. I was so unhappy because I thought this was my forever relationship, and it turns out it wasn't. Um, the good news is that I've now found my soulmate, and I'm happily remarried in a beautiful relationship. So uh, I've come out the other side. So I know that time that I needed to grieve, um, even though it felt horrible, it was something I needed to do. So, if you're going to be teary like I was, try to just allow yourself to do it. Stay at home and do it on your bed or whatever. But if you find yourself doing it out in public, don't beat yourself up over it. Okay. So the second thing that needs to happen is probably the hardest part, and that's going to be forgiveness. Okay. Um, and you need to do it from a place of, you know, try to do it from a place of not blaming. Okay, because when you blame your partner, it was all your fault, or maybe you blame yourself even. If you can take blame out of it, it's going to help you heal, because really every relationship is just there for a lesson for you. It's to help you grow into the person you are now, and just forgive yourself in the process. Forgive yourself for having had to experience that to learn that lesson. If you hold on to anger and resentment, I guarantee you will not be able to move on. It's that simple. So, step 2, I would say, is the hardest one of all the steps, but also the most important. Okay, so take a look at that in your own heart. Okay, the third one that we need to do to heal our heartbreak is we need to remove memories. Okay, so if you're holding on to your ex-husband's clothes, okay, are they still in his closet? This is not appropriate. Okay, if he's not coming back and it's over, you got to let those things go. Maybe somebody else can use them, give them to charity. Uh, you know, don't hold on to things that still trigger you, or the memories could be from photographs, or something that they gave you. Maybe he gave you some nice necklace or something. um, I actually took my wedding ring and I repurposed it, and I got it transformed into a beautiful necklace. And that for me was appropriate because I didn't want to give up my, uh, you know, the diamonds were valuable to me personally. I had a sentimental value to those, but I couldn't leave it as a ring, and I didn't want to just sell the ring. After 19 years, that didn't seem appropriate for me, but I needed to remove that memory, and I needed to do something. So I had my ring completely repurposed into something new and beautiful. So, just as an example, that's something you can do. Number 4. Okay, you want to get out of self pity and start loving yourself again. Okay, when I got divorced, I hated myself. I hated everything about myself. My self worth was so low. I didn't care if a bus ran me over. I was so depressed. Um, and I went into a period of very deep, dark blackness. Sometimes this is called the dark night of the soul. This is when I was in my dark night of the soul, where I didn't want to live anymore. And I knew I wasn't going to try and kill myself, luckily, although that can certainly happen with people if they're, especially if they're prone to depression. And that actually does show up in your hands, depression markers. By the way, check for blueness in your hands. That can be particularly negative. But, it is important to realize that you really are suffering from a loss, and that loss is traumatic. Whether you chose it or not, it happened. And however, if you look past that, and if you look at who you are as a soul, as a being of light, you are whole and complete as a being of light. And you came into this world without that relationship. And you, even though it was very important for you, it may have been everything to you, you are still a whole and complete person unto yourself, and you have a purpose in life. If you are here, there is a reason for you being here, and it's important for you to overcome this trauma so that you can get back in touch with that. You can't fulfill your purpose if you're stuck in depression. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And what a shame that would be for the world, because the world needs you. Okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. The world absolutely needs you. And you are here for a reason. And I am here to help you overcome this trauma so that you can get back to that reason, whatever it is. You're not alone. You are definitely not alone. And the 5th way to heal your heartbreak, step 5, is you need to set some new intentions and create a new action plan, and then take steps towards that plan. So just to give you an example of what I did when I was in that deep, dark place, I did contact a few friends who I trusted, and I, thank God, had some beautiful friends who were willing to help me through, because basically I was homeless when I got divorced. I was living out of an RV for 2.5 years, and when I left, I had nowhere to go. Thankfully, one of my friends took me in, and I stayed with her for a few days until I could find a place of my own. And that was a huge blessing. So that was part 1 of my action plan, even though I didn't know, how long I was going to be in that space. The next thing that I did that was really helpful was I started meditating every day. And I cannot stress how important this was for me in my healing journey. And that's something that I can help you with, is learning how to meditate to heal this trauma, and you can absolutely do it. And slowly but surely, it took some time and it took some consistency, but I became stronger and stronger every day. And that meditation was completely beneficial. So, these are the 5 things that you need to do in order to heal your heartbreak. Okay, now don't feel like you got to do it on your own. There are ways to get help. And you can go to soulmate.support. That's where I'm located for help in this area. We're going to be looking at the next video where I will be taking you through a program that I've created to actually help you heal your heartbreak and come back into joy and happiness. So please join me in the next video. Thank you so much for being here today, by the way. Bravo, because the fact that you're here tells me that you're ready to heal it. So have a great day.